Happy gathering, friends. I'm so honored to be here today. And today is actually a little special day for me personally. It's my birthday. I'll be 34 today. And this topic of divine birthright came to me while I was doing the dishes. I became a mom this past year, gave birth, and this week being my birth week, I thought, what better way than to celebrate, than to share with all of you how we are inherently children of the divine. It's funny, I didn't know it at the time consciously, but my whole life I've actually been seeking to understand the answer to this question of our divine birthright and who we're meant to be. Not who we deserve to be, but who we inherently are. And I knew it when I first read this poem. It's called Our Greatest Fear by Marianne Williamson, and I wanted to share it with you today. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That poem is from A Return to Love. I first read that poem when I was 16. I was at a summer theater camp. And when I read that, there was something inside of me that knew it was so deeply true. But in all honesty, what my 16-year-old mind said was, wow, that's true. But how in the shit am I gonna do that? Full disclosure. And ever since then, what I've come to understand is that I've been guided unconsciously and now consciously to understand we are meant to let our light shine. We are meant for joy, for peace, for harmony. We're not meant to suffer all the time. We're not meant to toil and simply survive. I really bought into those ideas for a long time. I had to go through many different phases in order to see, oh, that's not really working. And I've been trying to understand what's the balance between our free will and what is predestined for us. And I feel like divine birthright has answered that question for me on a very deep level. And I like answers that are simple. I've been used to working with children the past 6 years. And so if I can't really explain it to a first grader, I don't feel like I've really gotten it yet. So the way that I began to understand divine birthright was through the lens of how the divine sees us. It has been written, the divine is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, meaning the divine is everywhere at all times, is all powerful, and is all knowing. And to add to that, is all loving. We come to the divine as children, trying to understand, trying to work through our pain, trying to find discernment. And this is the life journey that we all take. My higher self that speaks to me through my heart was truly the divine speaking to me and how the divine saw me. and that the journey is about remembering to love ourselves the way that the divine loves us. We are asked to love, observe, and forgive ourselves in every single moment the way that the divine does for us. And when we start treating ourselves as the divine treats us, with compassion, with understanding, with support, as we find discernment, as we find peace within ourselves, that truly is our divine birthright. And we have this beauty of free will to always choose this, to choose to see ourselves as all-powerful, as all-loving, as all-forgiving, as in everyone and everything. And this is our choice every single day, to practice this, to see this, to seek this. Our divine birthright is to come closer and closer and closer and more fully embodied in our true nature, which is a divine child of the universe. And in every moment, we have that choice of free will, that beautiful choice of free will, to lean into that divine nature, to expand that divine nature in ourselves and out into the world, or to contract, to shy away from it, to run away from it, kicking and screaming like we've all done at some point too. Our divine birthright is a deep knowing, one that we find moment to moment to moment in our lives, that we are truly one in the same. But paradoxically, we are also unique within ourselves. This world is full of duality, so leaning into our divine birthright is about knowing I truly am a drop in the magnificent ocean of the framework of the universe. And I am one with that universe, while also knowing I am that unique drop that contributes to the whole. It's the beautiful paradox of being here in a human body. We see ourselves as separate from everyone and everything, and the journey can feel incredibly lonely. And our mind loves to criticize ourselves and others, loves to blame ourselves and others, loves to feel sorry for ourselves and others, which simply perpetuates a sense of separation. All right, so we've philosophized a little bit. Now, how do we bring this concept of divine birthright back to a simple, digestible practice? I'll tell you a couple things that have truly helped me. The first, when I'm really, really harsh on myself, or if I'm really, really harsh on others, I try to imagine that I'm speaking to a child and to my own inner child. Or if that doesn't work, I think, would I say this to my daughter? Or I think, would I want my daughter saying this to somebody? Would I want my daughter thinking this about herself? And 9 times out of 10, that stops the mental chatter. It gives me the push on the brakes that I need to come back to myself and into my heart, to quiet my mind, and to realize, whoa, I was on the train to separation town. I was on the ego express. I just ran right with it. And another huge practice is not vilifying our egos, our thinking minds. It's there for us to learn. Our ego is the bar that we must overcome, but the ego is also the helper. The story of Buddha and Mara, Mara being the Buddha's ego, the main sentiment I took away from that story was that Buddha expressed that Mara was his dear friend in enlightenment. That without his ego, he wouldn't be able to overcome it, understand its tricks, learn discernment, and find that his true identity was not in Mara. During the course of my spiritual exploration, I have noticed that I have either gone to one extreme or another. I've had many extremes, and it's helped me figure out where the boundaries are and where that path is within, finding that peace within the duality. The next practice for me, that is the single most important practice I've learned, is that our emotions are energy in motion, and that in order to overcome those parts inside that don't see ourselves as divine, that want to be selfish, that want to criticize, that want to blame, that don't want to take responsibility, those parts, those emotions need to be loved. They need to be felt deeply, consciously. If we are truly meant to find the kingdom of heaven within us, to liberate ourselves, to become more and more enlightened, to reach these higher states of stepping into our divine birthright, we have to feel our feelings. To me, this is the practice of know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And feeling our feelings is feeling the energy of them in our body, simply through the power of our own attention. Relaxing into those uncomfortable feelings, breathing into them, allowing yourself to move through them, putting your direct attention on them, like the feeling is water and your attention is water, and they just slowly, gently merge together until the feeling breaks down and is alchemized, and your higher self steps in. It's a tremendous physical experience for me when I do this, and I do it all the time. But if we are meant to seek greater and greater heights of our own potential, we have to go to deeper and deeper depths. I haven't found the workaround yet, and there are many ways in which we can do this. I'd like to share a few that have truly helped me through the pit of the mud before the lotus could blossom forth. The first is simply talking to that feeling, or to that inner child that is holding that feeling inside, and thanking that feeling, saying, thank you so much for trying to protect me, but you need to let go. You can let go now. You can surrender yourself. You're safe. I heard a monk once say that he makes friends with his feelings all the time. And with children, I always look down at my feeling and I say, hi feeling, how you doing? I see you. Nice to see you, friend. I see ya. I love ya. I'm gonna feel you now. Okay? Sometimes feeling our feelings calmly or talking to the feeling is not enough. And for me this past year, I've been truly called to step into my power, my full power, to not sublimate myself anymore, to not lean into my people-pleasing tendencies, to not shrink, to understand, wow, I have experience within, I have grace within me, and I'm here to share it. And in order for me to get to that place that felt more and more comfortable, I had to really be seen and heard, but not by anyone else. I had to be seen and heard by myself. Not quietly sitting there suffering and working on my feelings, but I spoke to myself. I recorded myself. All the feelings that I was holding, the depths of things that just felt ancient, deep, desperate, these crazy dark things that were coming up for me. And I would record them. And I would play the recording back to myself once, twice, more times if necessary. And it allowed me to feel seen and heard. And I'm telling you, it was such a simple but very transformative practice, because I felt all this power come back to me, because I was listening and honoring myself. Even if someone else couldn't hold my emotions, I couldn't lean on a friend or lean on a family member, I needed to learn to lean on myself. I can't say enough about recording yourself and allowing yourself to listen to every piece, every shade, every color. Allow yourself to say it, because when you speak it, it takes the mystique away from it, and it allows you to simply move through it and feel seen and feel heard, which creates a sense of safety, a sense of protection that you provided yourself. Now, sometimes recording myself just wasn't cutting it. Sometimes I just needed to express. And we can express in so many different ways. We can dance it out. We can breathe it out. I had a couple of instances where I went to an open field at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I wandered around the field and I cried out like a child crying out to the universe. And I allowed myself to feel this depth of grief, desperation, hopelessness. I was like I was wandering through this desert of the field, keening. If you know what keening is, it's an Irish tradition where this group of keening women would come to funerals, and they would all be there to heave and wail and cry out as a form of grief, as a form of catharsis for the funeral party. And that's what it felt like. And I needed to do that. And after doing that, it's funny, I didn't feel tired. I felt all this power come back to me. It was tremendous. And I felt that I had honored myself. I felt that I had allowed myself to move through something so dark and so heavy. And it made me feel relaxed afterwards. Only you can know what you have to move through. But on the path to stepping into your divine birthright more and more, you have to honor what you're going through. And when you do that, you inherently gain compassion for others. You realize, oh my gosh, everyone's going through this. Everyone. Consciously, unconsciously, honoring it, not honoring it. And that everyone's at different stages and phases. It's like we're all trying to get to the same place, but my map isn't going to be perfect for you. And your map isn't going to be perfect for me, but we can at least compare notes. Or maybe a part of your journey, you're still in that rock phase. And maybe someone else has gone through that rock phase and now they're in the sand phase. And so another part of divine birthright is allowing others to have that experience for themselves, not forcing them into the ideals that you believe are best for them. Allowing people to make their own choices, because you're allowed to make your own choices. And knowing that no one is superior or inferior. We're all just at different stages of evolution. The rock is no better than the sand. They're just at different phases. Because I have found that as you work on yourself spiritually, that little ego part loves to creep in and say, oh wow, I'm getting so much understanding, I'm getting so much discernment, I know so many things. Oh man, I can start to tell people what to do. Oh boy. But ultimately, if you keep honoring what you're going through and allow yourself to feel it, to express it, to honor it, you'll be guided to the next step. The next practice I find tremendously helpful on this path of stepping into our divine birthright is constantly learning how to open your heart. And so I wanted to do that with everyone today. And I've noticed here in the Sacred Awakenings community, everyone does it. Every speaker does it. Every facilitator I've worked with does it. And it's because it's necessary. Because it's so easy as we're going through this human experience to feel the pain of it and for our hearts to close. But that heart is the portal. It's the portal to our divine experience. It's the portal to experiencing that sense of expansion. It's the portal to help alchemize and move through each and every piece of our journey, our emotions and our thoughts. And so the more we can actively try and keep that open, it's like the path gets cleared for us. So I'd like to guide everyone right now to a little heart opening practice. And if you don't know how to find your heart center, this is how I know how to. It's been the easiest way. Everyone can find their heart center by making a number 1 with their pointer finger, putting it directly here at the bottom of your throat, the base of your throat. And you follow your finger down to where it attaches to the rest of your hand. And right there, in the center of your chest, deep within your chest, is your heart center. And we can actually tap on it. I call this my little bear claw. It's a gentle bear claw. And you can tap gently. With children, we say, "Oh, hello, heart. How are you today? Knock, knock. We're here. Let us in." And tapping right here, there's also a health benefit. Our thymus gland is located here, which helps stimulate our immune system. So go ahead and just simply tapping here. You may or may not feel some lightness, some energy moving, some tingles, sensation. Whatever it is for you, it's valid. Now, there are many ways to open our heart, but I'll guide us through one of my favorite ways right now. So if you'd like to, go ahead and close your eyes. I found it makes it easier to focus and a little more enjoyable too. You can stop tapping and you can put your attention deep inside your chest. First, you can imagine a beautiful, bright sun deep inside your chest. It's so big, it's so bright. And feel like that sun is just pouring its rays of sunshine out of your chest, out into the world. If you want to open your heart even more, you can think of someone, someplace, or something that you love very, very much. And see how that makes the center of your chest feel. Can you feel that sensation, that vibration of warmth, of love? And that love you feel for that person, place, or thing, just send it. Let that love you feel go to them. And now, if you have anything to say to your heart, go ahead and do so. For me, I just simply like thanking my heart. I also like to ask my heart to help guide me. And I know it's my heart guiding me when it's this soft, it's quiet, and I have to lean in to hear it, but it's there. And it's always there for me, guiding me to my next step. Take a nice deep breath in and out, and linger in that sensation of an open heart. I'm going to count back from 5. You can slowly bring yourself and your awareness back to our group here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just that very simple yet powerful practice of opening your heart can lead the way, can be the torch in the darkness, can be the road that appears as you step blindly into the dark, and can be the difference to how you see yourself and how you see others in every moment of your day. Stepping into your divine birthright is knowing you are a creator being. You create your thoughts, your feelings, your perceptions. You take responsibility for it all, and you honor it all, and you choose how you want to think, how you want to feel, and how you want to act. And if you're coming from your heart, you won't be led astray. No matter how many mistakes you make, no matter how many wrong turns or right turns, no matter how successful, no matter how rich or poor, no matter how important you feel to your family or society, if you know you are a creator, you are a piece of the Creator, and your divine birthright is to activate that every single day. And here's what I would say to my first graders about divine birthright. You are enough as you are. Being pretty, or smart, or handsome, or athletic, or talented are all very nice things, and they are gifts that we can use to celebrate and help ourselves and others. But what makes you special is just you being you. That's it. Just your heart. That is what makes you special. That is what makes you enough. That is what other people feel when you talk to them or play with them. And when we feel our own hearts, that's how we become even more special. And there's no limit to how special each of us are. And your specialness isn't better or worse than someone else's specialness. Each of our specialness is here on earth because we're here. For our closing prayer today, I'd like to share a beautiful chant that I have sung with my daughter when I was pregnant, and that we still sing together, and that I learned 5 years ago. And it reminds me of what our divine birthright truly is. It's called the Anandamayi chant. I was introduced through it through the work of Mother Mira Alfasa and Sri Aurobindo. But it's a chant that is in Sanskrit, and it has the vibration of high consciousness in it, and is meant to get us closer and closer to our divine birthright. So go ahead and chant along if you'd like, or simply close your eyes and allow yourself to receive. Thank you so much for having me, Sacred Awakenings, and allowing me the gift of expressing my divine birthright here with you. Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame Om Anandamayi Chaitanya